Good morning from Indianapolis. Another star edge rusher, Trey Hendrickson, might be available for teams like the 49ers. That leads our talk this morning from the site of the NFL Combine, where also this morning, the rookie edge rushers, defensive tackles, linebackers, and kickers are talking to the media at the convention center. I've stepped outside for a bit. I'm in front of the Indiana Pacers basketball arena. Very ironically, it's not a football schedule. That's a basketball schedule on the mural behind me, but still a good spot to talk about 49ers potential additions this offseason. First off, Tyrese Halliburton plays for the Pacers. He was Brock Purdy's friend at Iowa State. They rode the campus shuttle bus together to and from class and the athletic facilities. Halliburton now stars here in Indianapolis. But to Trey Hendrickson, the Cincinnati Bengals are in a potentially tough spot this offseason. They're talking about paying Jamar Chase the highest contract of any non-quarterback ever. They're obviously already paying Joe Burrow a lot of money. The Bengals haven't really been known to open their pocketbooks. And when you've got Jamar Chase due for a contract, and when you also would like to pay T. Higgins, there might not be all too much money left over for the defense. And that's where Trey Hendrickson comes in. Just turned 30 years old, led the NFL in sacks this past season, 17 and a half sacks. This guy's gotten better every single year that he's been in the league. So it seems that this is a man strength kind of edge rusher. It seems like the early to mid 30s are going to be his prime based on the career trajectory. And if the Bengals are too cheap to hold on to him, he's under contract only for this last year. We talk about all these potential trades and all this discussion happening when guys are entering a lame duck year without a contract. Trey Hendrickson's going to need a new contract after a 17 and a half sack season. And if the Bengals can't give it to him, Tony Pauline today reported that a trade would be on the table. So it seems like everybody might be available on the edge rushing market. I know that Myles Garrett technically isn't because the Browns for now are saying they're not interested in a trade, but he has requested one. Joey Bosa might be a cap casualty in San Diego. Yes, I said San Diego. I did not say the Los Angeles Chargers. Khalil Mack is scheduled to be a free agent in just a couple of weeks if we're going to be speaking of the Chargers. I mean, that's big name after big name after big name. And I could toss another one in. The Titans have granted permission to Harold Landry, the 2018 draft product out of Boston College, to seek a trade. Now, Landry still has 2 more years left on his deal, and Landry did not have a good year pass rushing. He did have 9 sacks, but he only had 18 pressures. I mean, the pressure numbers were way, way down for Harold Landry this year, which indicates that there was some luck to the amount of sacks that he was able to rack up. His best seasons were a couple years ago for the Tennessee Titans, earned him the contract that they're thinking about trading now. The Titans with that number 1 pick, Abdul Carter, makes a lot of sense. The Penn State defensive end, edge rusher, who was just absolutely dominant through college. I mean, he's going to run a fast 40. He's has the measurables that you want at about 260 pounds. He's not going to slip past the first couple picks. So maybe that's what the Titans do. Maybe the Titans trade the veteran Harold Landry and bring in some fresh blood, bring in somebody like Abdul Carter. But, for the 49ers, the price is going to have to be right for any veteran edge rusher or defensive tackle that they add, because especially the defensive tackle position, this draft is absolutely stacked. 41 of them invited to this NFL Combine. It's obviously headlined by Mason Graham. We're going to see him test over the next couple days. But Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham's teammate from Michigan, is also a really highly touted prospect. And, that's just 2 defensive tackles from one school. So we know the 49ers would like to bolster their entire defensive line. We also know that San Francisco will almost certainly draft an offensive tackle, and it's going to be hard to find a tackle that matches their specifications lower than the first round. So we talk about Armand Membu out of Missouri. That's going to be a first-round guy. That could be somebody that goes to the 49ers at 11, and if that's the case, well, then that very top pick cannot be spent on the defensive line, and I think it makes it likelier that the 49ers do try to pull one of these trades or free agent signings for a higher profile veteran edge rusher, because they do need to fortify the spot opposite Nick Bosa. But then again, defensive tackles also a need, and Some of these tackles are expected to go very high in the draft. I will say that since 41 of these defensive tackles got invited to the NFL Combine, and I haven't even talked about Walter Nolan yet. I haven't even talked about Derek Harmon, who's the 6'5" defensive tackle out of Oregon. He's a little bit on the lighter side. He's closer to 300 pounds. Then you've got heavier dudes. The guy out of Kentucky, he's huge. He's a 344 pounder. That's Deion Walker out of Kentucky. He's 6'7", near 350. So you've got different body types in defensive tackle, but that position for the 49ers might be more readily available a little bit further down in this draft. And they've got 10 picks, but with 41 of those guys invited to the Combine, not all of them are going to go in the top 11. Not all of them are going to go in the top 32. So how San Francisco chooses to balance all of this is going to be fascinating, and that's why the more the merrier as far as the veteran market goes. Harold Landry may be somebody they're not interested in because his play has fallen off, unless they think that he can revive his career with them and he's worth taking a flyer on. But, somebody, obviously Myles Garrett, everybody should be interested in him if the Browns are willing to trade him. Somebody like Trey Hendrickson, well, he just led the league in sacks. He was top 3 in the pass rushing metrics, the pass rushing productivity metrics. I think everybody should be interested in a player that seems to be entering his prime at age 30 and not leaving it. The more the merrier there, because that maximizes the 49ers' options, right? You only have so many draft picks. You only have one draft pick in the first round. You've got multiple positions of need. Today, I'm only talking about defensive tackle, defensive end for San Francisco, and offensive tackle. So if you're going to have to allocate your resources, you're going to want to have more paths to attain the talent that you're looking for. And the more that I realize that the 49ers are going to need to spend valuable draft capital on a tackle, I don't know exactly where that draft capital is going to be, but if it does end up being number 11, well, that means that they better find alternate avenues to fortify the other positions. And we haven't even started talking about the stack linebacker spot. And that may be a free agency spot for sure for the 49ers with Bobby Wagner on the market, Jamian Sherwood on the market. There are a lot of positions to fill for a 49ers team that obviously did not perform well defensively last year and is looking to build around Brock Purdy. But that's the update this morning from Indianapolis. Trey Hendrickson might be available because the Bengals, they've not been known as big spenders, and they have a lot of guys to pay, starting with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins this offseason. And if that does happen and Trey Hendrickson is entering that lame duck year on his contract, well, look out, because there could be another big-name player on the move.